Well, well, well. Here we are. You know, it's been a while. And oh god, I'm coming in loud. So it's been a while. Hello, everybody. How are we? Hello, 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 hello. Let's see who we have. We have Marge, Andy, hello, Eric, Mary, Flora, Martin, Darwin, Kathy. Any other names that I'm probably going to mispronounce? How is everybody doing? Max, thank you so much. It's good to be back. How am I doing? I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. I'm doing well. It was a nice break, I'm not gonna lie. It was a nice break. Hello from London. Welcome, welcome. Hey Rory, I'm talking with you Friday at 8 a.m. Wow, thank you for joining us. Radley, how are you? I guess that looks Japanese, so o genki desu ka? I guess I should say. Rukia, TB, S-Man, I love your voice, thank you. Agent 47, hello from Turkey. Hello from Lebanon. Kaif halek, Lebanon, Flora. Dina. Karen. Heha. Love your charismatic voice. Thank you so much. You guys are so great to me. You guys are really, really too nice to me. So, for those of you who have never been to one of these, it is pretty straightforward. Hello, Bulgaria. Hello, Colombia. So, this is going to be a live stream. For those of you who don't know, the live stream is basically I'm going to answer a bunch of your questions for free. Hello from Dirty Jersey. What's up? What's up, Jersey? Hi from Uranus. Russia is here. Sam, what's going on, man? Bronco. All right, so here's how this is going to go. You guys post questions, I give answers, and we all go home happy, hopefully. Agent 47 says, after the breakup from a 2.5-year relationship, she breadcrumbed me a couple of times. I only called her on her birthday, then I unfollowed her on both Twitter and Instagram. Did I ruin my chances? No, absolutely not. Hi from Stockholm. Hello. No, Agent 47, you did not ruin your chances. Not at all. Brandon, my friend, how are you? Good to hear from you. Matthew says, hi, ex reached out, but I didn't set up a date because I didn't want to seem eager. Do I go straight back into no contact? Yeah. Yeah, and if they reach out again, that would be a good opportunity to set a date. It's not a big deal that you didn't. Guys, remember, you're listening to these channels, and so in your mind you have a sense of, like, tactics, right? Your ex is not thinking in terms of tactics. They're just living their life. So you just living your life is fine. If you didn't set the date the second they reached out, that it's not like some thing in their mind got triggered and they're thinking to themselves, ah, they didn't set the date when I reached out. That must mean they're not interested. That doesn't happen. Right? These are just some of the things that we talk about on channels like these are best practices. Like, they reach out, you make your intention clear. Here's what I want. Can you give me that? There you go. So, let's see. Brett says, just entering the dating world again. What's some signs that you should attempt a kiss? Thanks for the coaching and videos. Don't need my ex anymore. Congratulations. So, signs for the kiss is, are they looking at your lips and then back up to your eyes and then back down at your lips? These days, look, it's COVID-19. People are being a bit more careful with that sort of stuff. Why don't you just open a dialogue with the person and just say, hey, you can even bite the bullet and say, look, you know, on first dates, just to be a bit safer from COVID, I don't know if, I don't mean to presume that we were going to have a kiss, but why don't we skip that even if we were going to have one, just to be safe, just for this first time. There it is. That's pretty much what it comes down to. So, George Orwell, hello. Hi, please talk about dating in the COVID age. Yeah, things are tough. Things are tough. I think many people these days are going to be finding most of their dating happening on apps or online or on Meetup. So, you guys know my stance on that. I'm not a huge dating app fan at all. But I understand things are a bit different now, and we want to be a lot more careful these days. And so a lot of the dates you're going to have are going to be met online, at least until things are a bit safer. So I think, you know, what a wonderful opportunity to focus on the person's personality rather than their image. So, I think that that's going to be a big thing that you want to consider is, hey, let me write down some deal breakers for me. And maybe if I don't see X, Y, or Z from this person, now that I'm actually focusing on what they're saying instead of what they look like, it gives you a chance to focus more on the personality, I guess is what I'm trying to get at here. I tried to ask you a question on Instagram, but you didn't read it. Can you please see it? So ask your question here. I don't actually check the Instagram inbox at all. My DMs are closed, as the kids say. Let's see. Josh said, love and care is truly there, but trust isn't. No cheating. When things got rocky, I was blind to my avoidance. Can no contact plus self-improvement work bring us together and rebuild the trust? Yeah. That, and I think alongside that, it is important that you remember that maybe a mental health professional could be involved in there to help you point out some things you're not seeing. Supriya says, Rory, what's wrong? You think my texts aren't worth your attention? This being the third one. No, Supriya, I think there's 140 people here. So, that's what I think. I think there's 140 others trying to get my attention. Why do you never show your face? I am horrifically ugly. And I also want you guys to focus more on what I'm saying and the message rather than the image. This is not the Rory show. This is, hey, you guys are feeling bad? Well, let's have a discussion. Let's maybe make you feel a little better. Alrighty, next is Eric says, so this is mind reading, but why would they have blocked me on social media platforms, but not at all? At the end of the day, it could be that they may be showing some content they don't want you to see, but at the end, it's mind reading, right? So there could be 1,000 reasons, and let me answer your question with a question. What use will mind reading be other than to make you think more about things you cannot prove? Might be the most attractive sounding ugly guy in the world. Hey, thanks. The mirror disagrees. Maria says, my ex and I got back together, but after some time he stops trying and putting in the effort and slowly starts pulling away out of the blue. I don't know what to do when he does this. What I would do is mirror his behavior, right? Mirror his behavior. So if he is pulling away, you can respond by pulling away. But you shouldn't do so manipulatively, right? You should do so if he's pulling away. You can do this. You can just say, hey, look, he's pulling away. Maybe he's having a hard time. Maybe he needs a bit more space. So why don't I just focus on some things maybe I've been neglecting? Why don't I focus on some friendships I've been neglecting? Things like that, right? And that's all it comes down to. Erica says, my boyfriend cheated on me for 8 months. How do I, oh man, 8 months. How do I get over the betrayal? So Erica, first and foremost, I want to say that I know what that feels like, and it sucks that you've been exposed to that. So I feel you. So it's a good question you raise, and that is, it calls so much into question. Like, when somebody cheats on you or betrays you in some form, and typically cheating is the most common form of betrayal in relationships, you have to think of it this way. Your mind goes through this sort of, this doubting period, right? So it forces you to ask yourself, what did we have? Where were we? What did it all mean? Because now not only are you questioning where you're at currently, but you question what did it mean 6 months ago when you did blank, right? When you bought me that special ring, or when you took me on that vacation. What did any of that mean? It basically transports you to a different frame of mind, where now you're like, what the hell does this mean? What the hell did this mean? How can I trust you? How can I trust the next person? I didn't know anything was wrong in our relationship, and now I'm finding out the past 8 months were a complete lie and I had no idea. And then what's more is you begin to ask yourself, like, what about me in this whole line of behavior, right? Was there some flaw in me that I didn't even notice my partner acting differently or doing that? And so what it comes down to is you have to remember that how they treat you, and I want everybody in the audience to listen to this because this is important. How they treat you has so much less to do with you and so much more to do with themselves. Think about this. It says so much less about you and so much more about the relationship they have with themselves. And, as an addendum, the behavior you're willing to receive is likely a reflection of the behavior, or rather of the way you see yourself. If I'm willing to accept bad behavior in a relationship from a partner, you probably don't have a great relationship with yourself. So I want you to really think of it along those terms. What your ex does to you has less to do with you and more to do with them and how they view themselves. And what behaviors from your ex you're willing to receive, not only your ex, but anybody, your best friend, your parents, your boss. The behaviors you're willing to receive say more about you and the behavior you have with yourself. So here's an example, and it's not always this black and white, because I realize that there are some situations that are extreme, right? Like abusive situations. I'm not going to say such black and white things, because there are so many areas of gray when it comes to abuse. But I would say 9 times out of 10, most people who deal with a partner who disrespects them is like, whatever, I just don't want any trouble. Or they reason to themselves, hey, it's better than being alone, right? And the answer is no. The only thing worse, let me rephrase. It sucks being with a partner who makes you feel alone, or who abuses you, or having every one of your friends and family point out to you, hey, that's probably not a great thing you're putting up with. And you kind of know that they're right, but you don't want to admit it. Because to admit it means you have to face it. And a lot of us just aren't willing to face some of the pathologies that relationships deal with and that relationships bring to the table. Maybe we're good enough with status quo, because if it's status quo, that means there's no change. And we do not like dealing with change. We do not like dealing with change. All right, let's get to another one here. It's early. It's early in the live stream for me to be on the soapbox. All right, let's see. Nofal says, my ex was with another person during our whole relationship, 2 years. Jesus. I knew about all of it after she broke up with me, but I still can't get myself to hate her. I can't stop loving her. So, a lot of cheating today, huh? So, I mean, that kind of goes with what I was just saying, right? That speaks to the relationship that you have with yourself. And perhaps it's not in you to hate somebody. Maybe that's just not your way. You don't have to hate her, but you don't have to condone or agree with what she did or how she did it. So, I would say, in your case, I think mental health counseling might be the way to go, and to figure out, well, what's going on there, right? Is there maybe some codependence? Is there something along those lines that I could work through with a counselor who might point out some things for me to consider? That's the best type of counseling, honestly, is when somebody sits us down and they don't argue with us, or they don't bat away our thoughts and feelings with endless logic. Instead, they listen intently and point out the little cracks in our armor and say, hey, what about that right over there? Have you considered that? Have you considered that? So it's something to think about. Glenn says, I broke no contact for her birthday, took a bunch of flowers, tried to sort things, and she just did not want to know. We split completely out of the blue 3 days previous when we were planning a wedding. That is, without more information, there's not a hell of a lot for me to dive into there. I would think right now, post-breakup, your ex probably doesn't want to hear from you, and that doesn't mean that'll be forever. That just means right now. You have to remember, the main question is, in situations like that, is my ex-partner, or current partner, depending on the situation, in a place where they are receptive to the type of contact I'm trying to give them? And again, this is one of those times I want everybody to listen. Is my ex-partner or current partner in a place where they are able to receive the form of contact I'm trying to give them? So if your ex just broke up with you and you go out and for you pull out this grand gesture, I'm going to buy them these flowers and do all these things for them. Well, right now, after they just broke up with you, immediately, they might not be receptive to that. They might just want to be left alone. So the answer would be no at this moment, right now. They're not receptive to the contact I'm trying to give them. So let me back away, take a couple of deep breaths, maybe go for a walk, and get myself to a calm place where then I can try and say, okay, what's a better place for me to operate from? Because after you get broken up with, obviously, you're not thinking logically because you're afraid. And guys, just a reminder, I see a lot of the same questions. I'm going to do my best to get to as many questions as possible. And if I don't get to your question, do me a solid and just write it in a comment below after the video gets posted. I will do my best to answer every single question posted, if I can answer it, if I have the ability to answer it, after the live stream is over. So if I don't get to your question during the live stream, post it as a comment. I'll answer your comment, because I want everybody to feel like they've got a chance to be heard, but it's hard to keep up with 184 people here. Mary, I wanted to say thank you so much for your donation. I'm looking out for a question from you. Let's see. You said, I'm not sure if I want him back. Just curious, but I am doing great. Let me, Mary, do me a favor and repost your question. I want to make sure I answer it because you donated here. In the meantime, Rory, me and my girlfriend dated for 5 months. We had, here's your question. Let me just copy and paste this real quick. Got it. Me and my girlfriend dated for 5 months. We had a good time together, but she moved back to her country. She broke up with me from long distance. Any tips for me? We are in no contact for 5 months now. Yeah, no contact long distance is rough. It's rough because you're not getting any feedback. It's like just nothing. You're just yelling into a black hole, basically. What I would say is now is the time where you want to begin pushing yourself forward in terms of dating. It's been 5 months. You've had some time. Live your life, right? Taking a couple of steps forward in your own life helps get rid of that stuck feeling. And also, it doesn't have any negative impact on your ex. If your ex wants to reach out, they're going to reach out. It doesn't matter if you're dating other people, right? We like to pretend it matters, but not really. They're in a different country. They can't possibly be mad that they broke up with you and it's been 5 months and you're dating. So, yeah, just live your life, right? Don't be a prisoner. Don't be their prisoner. I like that. So Mary says, what are the chances of Avoidant Exes coming back? We broke up because he wanted to be alone. No contact since day one. He was crying when I picked up my stuff. Avoidance... Look, the coaches, myself included, but I'm going to blame Craig Kenneth a bit more, only because he talks about it more than any other coach. You want to remember, with attachment theory, first and foremost, it's a theory, right? It is a pseudoscience because we cannot prove it. Now, you're going to hear a lot about attachment theory from Freud. You're going to hear a lot of it from Carl Jung. And really what we're talking about is, because it's a theory, we can't prove it. Because we can't prove it, we cannot, point to it scientifically and say, here's how I know this is true. But let's just assume for a second that attachment theory is completely true, completely right. Because I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying there's no merit to it. I'm just saying we don't know enough about it to make certain claims. We can only go off of what we observe. So we call them the avoidant attachment style. We can call it the anxious attachment style, the disorganized attachment style. But what are we really talking about here? We're talking about sets of behaviors that explain other behaviors, right? So with the avoidant, they don't do well with attachment. Why? Well, they don't do well with attachment because at some point in their life, someone who they trusted hurt them in a big way. This could be a past lover. This could be a parent. This could be a guardian of some sort. They learned, hey man, I can't fully connect to this person because when I do, they'll let me down. And the feeling of betrayal that I had to put up with from them made it so that I never want to go through that again. So it's funny, we'll say, oh, my ex is really avoidant. And the first thing that comes to my mind, Luca, thank you for the donation. I'll get to it in just a second. The first thing that comes to my mind is, are they the avoidant attachment style? Or are they avoiding you because of the breakup? There is a difference, right? I avoid a math test I didn't study for because it will be unpleasant and I don't want to deal with it right now. But avoiding a breakup or talking to the person I just dumped is not the same as having an avoidant attachment style. So think about that. Did your ex show avoidant trait behaviors during the relationship? Did they have trouble with closeness and vulnerability and intimacy? Did they have trouble saying things like, I love you? If that's the case, they might, on the spectrum, be a bit more on the avoidant side. But then we come into part 2 of the conversation, which is there is a difference between having an avoidant attachment style, right? And you have to remember the key word here. The key word is attachment. It is not detachment. So if my ex is avoiding me because whenever she's around me, she feels unpleasant, that's normal, right? That's like my hand avoids fire because the fire's hot and I'll get hurt. Or I avoid dogs because I'm afraid of dogs. I'm not. I love dogs, by the way. But I hope this kind of makes sense what I'm getting at here. It's called attachment style. It refers to how I attach, not how I detach. You can be completely secure and still avoid an ex. You can be anxious and still avoid an ex. So I don't want you guys to focus too much on attachment theory when it comes to breakups. You can use them as blueprints for love during the relationship, and that's totally fine and even useful. If you notice that your ex isn't so great with public displays of affection or too much hand-holding or kissing, cool. Well, keep that in mind, right? They might have an avoidant attachment style. This might be hard for them. But after they're breaking up with you, you can't claim, oh, well, avoidant attachment, so here's what you do. No, just leave them alone, and if they miss you, they're going to come get you. It's as simple as that. Alrighty. Luca says, how to get over the fact that my ex is in 8-month rebound right away. After 5 years, since we were 17, she reached out but is still with him. Okay, so do I do this for a living? Yes, I do. So, Luca, I have a couple issues with how you pose this, because you said, how to get over the fact that my ex is in a 8-month rebound relationship. Well, it's been 8 months. You don't know that it's a rebound relationship anymore. After 5 years, you guys had a 5-year relationship since you were both 17. She reached out, but she's still with him. How do you get over it? Well, if it's been 8 months, you know, the first place my mind goes to is that you are not trying to get over it. Perhaps there's part of you that's holding on. And that's what I really want you to focus on. Are there some behaviors that you might be engaging in? Some social media, some things like that? Some you know, asking mutual friends about them? Things like that are maybe holding you in place where you're at? Maybe watching too many of these videos? Maybe scrolling through breakup subreddits? Because those types of behavior, they'll keep you here forever. Maybe a little too much mind reading going on. So I would say if you're removing those elements from your life, that will help greatly in the getting over it. It's a decision. Guys, for a lot of you, it's a decision. For a lot of you, it is a decision. Decide to take the next step forward. That's what it comes down to, a decision. So Luca, what I want to say to you is if you want to get over your ex, at this point, 8 months later, decide to. All right, Rukia, thank you for your donation. Ex of 2 months, who's in another country at the moment, told me, though we're not together, she cares about me and will always love me. Is this a breadcrumb? No. I don't think it's a breadcrumb. I think no contact is still appropriate, but I think your ex meant what he, she, they said. If your ex says, hey, you know, we're not together right now, but I do care for you, I do love you. And I think that's great. I think it's just your ex is being vulnerable with you. But what do you do about it? Nothing. You say, thank you for letting me know. I feel that way too. Give me a call if you change your mind about this. That's it. Alrighty. Jamie, thank you for the donation. Jamie said, is there a higher chance of reconciliation with a long-term relationship with kids? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely yes. Does it generally take longer for an ex to reach out after a long-term relationship? I would say so. Yeah, I would say so. It's hard to say exactly how long. There's no number, there's no science behind this, but I would say, yeah, for sure, especially if you have kids. Mike says, my ex is back at our church since January. She's telling everyone she's miserable, but hasn't, where'd your comment go? Hasn't reached out to me. It's been exactly a year since we broke up. Even showed up about my Bible study. So, okay. If your ex left the relationship, and your ex is still having these types of thoughts and feelings regarding the end of your relationship, there has to be a degree of not that I'm mocking church or religion or anything like that, but there has to be like a come to Jesus moment where she's like, all right, I left the guy. I told him I didn't want to be in the relationship anymore. Maybe I should go admit that this wasn't a good idea. Because otherwise, it's a matter of you still chasing your ex and still showing that the same dynamic they left still exists. Right? They broke up with you, you chase after them. Where's the self-respect? They broke up with you, you chase after them because you heard that they're upset. What if she's upset and it has nothing to do with you? Right? What if she's upset because a guy she was dating dumped her? I mean, could you really know for sure? It's hard to say. But the point is, she inflicted something upon you rather than staying and working it out. So, that's what I think. Rukia, you're very welcome. I'm glad it was helpful. All right, let's see. Let's see. Who haven't I gotten to? Oh god, I have no idea how to pronounce your name. Arno K. April Mass? Yurno? Irno? Whatever. Your question is, hey Rory, how would you react if you would get winky faces from your ex in work-related emails? He has a girlfriend for 1 year now. Do you think he has some feelings still? So that's a ton of mind reading, and there's no way to accurately answer that. I would take the safe route and just assume it's nothing. Especially if your ex has a partner. You just gotta assume it's nothing. Unless your ex directly tells you they miss you, they care about you, they could see you guys together, things like that. Unless they directly say things like that, you need to assume it's nothing, because you're just going to be chasing your tail over something that could or could not be true, and it's not worth the mental anguish. Mateus says, my ex broke no contact, and she wants to be friends. I gracefully declined and told her to stop reaching out unless reconciliation is on her mind. Good for you, Mateus. Now she wants to come over to talk. What do I expect? Well, I have a hot bowl of no idea. What I would say is that it's likely that your ex probably wants to, find out a bit more about what's on your mind. Find out a bit more if they could... What's the best way to put this? Find out a bit more if she can wiggle her way through and get you to be friends and realize if you're being serious. So what I would say is, you've set the boundaries. Don't go backwards. You've set the boundaries, don't go backwards. You're doing well. And if you play your cards right, this could mean reconciliation for you. Right? Don't presuppose anything. You just say, I have no idea what she wants, and I'm going to wait and see. I have no idea what she wants, and I'm going to wait and see what she says. Rory, what do you think about breakups subreddit? Which one? It kind of depends, because there's a couple of them. For those of you who don't know, the Love Chat does have a subreddit. It's r/thelovechat. Shocker. I do not like the ex no contact one. I think that the level of black and white that they try to paint things into doesn't necessarily exist, but I will put as an addendum, I'm not on the subreddit very often. So the opinion that I just said comes from very limited exposure. So maybe I'll even do a video about this. I'll do a video and after I've researched a bit more and kind of see which ones I recommend. It's hard because it's individuals giving advice. So it's hard. Mega Anti-Hacks, thank you for the donation. You said, girlfriend of 4 years broke up 2 months ago. She followed her ex Sunday, who she was talking to behind my back for 2 years and caused problems between us. What do I do? You pay attention. Right? You pay attention. If your ex deliberately tried to do it behind your back, and you guys were in a exclusive, committed boyfriend-girlfriend relationship, then that's not right. Because she intentionally tried to hide it. And she was not on the table about it. Now, if you guys were like not in a committed relationship where you were both boyfriend and girlfriend, and there was a future plan and all that, that's a different story. But what do you do? Well, first and foremost, I mean, I'm going to call you out because you know that you're not supposed to be looking up this information. So how do you have this information? Right? And obviously you have this information because you go to her social media and you check all the time. That's doing a lot of mental health harm to you. So I would recommend, maybe cutting back on that because you're never going to move on if you continue doing that. In terms of what do, you block her on all forms of social media and you make sure that you have no way to ever find out any information about her or her whereabouts or habits ever, because that's just going to do a ton of harm to you. Step 2, get a journal. Step 3, work with a counselor, right? We want you finding out no new information about your ex. All right, Psychronos says, my ex apologized for hurting me a month ago, then re-added me on Facebook earlier this month after removing me everywhere. Her birthday is next week. What do I do? It's been 5 months since the breakup. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything. If you want to give your ex a happy birthday, that's okay, but don't expect it to go anywhere, right? If you want to wish her happy birthday, that's fine. If you don't, that's fine too. Alrighty. Hey guys, just a reminder, if you spam the chat, I'm intentionally not going to answer the question. Don't do it. Don't be a dick. Alrighty, let's see. Who haven't I gotten to here? Chris Clark. Dated 7 years. She cheated for 3 months, then broke up with me. There's a lot of cheating today. It's been 18 months and I'm still struggling. Both thinking about it and ignoring it doesn't help. I know we won't ever reconcile. So, it does suck. And Data agrees. I don't know if you guys can hear him. Because what it does is, again, I kind of explained this earlier, it makes you doubt everything you had with the person. So I think the best and healthiest thing you can do for yourself would be to work with a counselor and find out, okay, what's the holdup, right? What's going on in me that I'm holding on to this? And I think that it would be healthiest for you to make some decisions about yourself. I mean, if you're never going to have your ex back and you don't think it's a good idea and cheating is a no-go for you, it's a non-starter, well, cool, then just block your ex on everything, right? Because what's the point? What's the point going through all this mental anguish if you know that you're not interested in working with or towards a relationship ever again? Right? Just pardon yourself. Make the active decision. I'm not taking them back even if they come back. It's as simple as that. Solve the dilemma yourself. Ex-boy says, going for long walks has become my favorite thing to do before going to bed. It's been 10 days of no contact, but I feel fine. I know my ex won't come back. I was emotionally abusive. Accepting it helped a lot. Good on you. Good on you for accepting some areas that you can grow in. And that's something that we all really need to do. You know, we all need to work on accepting our half of the breakup. And if anybody in the audience here thinks that they're 100% of the breakup, well, you know, I'm going to push back and say you're 100% full of shit. It's not all you. It can't be. It can't be. Because then that's putting your ex on a pedestal and saying they can do no wrong. Well, they can. And they did. And maybe you defend them from the wrong that they do, and maybe you don't want to believe it, but what you believe and reality are two completely different things sometimes. Particularly when we're emotional. Because it's just easier to say, no, it was all me. I was the whole breakup. No, you weren't. Shut up. No, you weren't. And neither were they. They weren't the whole breakup either. So take the blame that you created, understand the blame that they created, and then understand the blame that you two created together. That's the job. Not for the purpose of assigning blame, for the purpose of understanding. Because I'm of the mind, and I truly believe this, when you fully understand and flesh out a situation, you're brought a bit more peace. Because you understand what it was. You understand why it didn't work. Christine, I'm so glad. It's good to hear from you. Yeah, that's something Craig Kenneth says a lot. The breakup was a symptom of a problem in the relationship. When I first heard that, I was like, yeah, duh. The relationship's over, of course. But then I really got to thinking about what he meant. And the more I think about it, the more wisdom there is in it. It's, yeah, a breakup means that there was a problem. But the breakup itself wasn't the problem. A breakup was a symptom of the problem, not the cause itself. And there's a lot of wisdom in that. And for those of you who have never watched Craig Kenneth's channel, I definitely recommend Craig Kenneth. I also recommend the Dating Guy, fantastic. Susan Winter, fantastic. The Personal Development School is Thais Gibson, it's also fantastic. Red23, hi Rory, I follow your advice. She never come back and make money. How can you say never? what it sounds like you're trying to say is she hasn't come back yet. And also, that's not my bag. I never promise anything. I never promise exes definitely come back. I can't. That's mind reading, and I'm all about not mind reading. Steve, my friend, how are you? Juliet, the channel name is Craig Kenneth. Kenneth. Craig Kenneth. And Corey Wayne, yeah. Corey Wayne is losing his way. Craig Kenneth is kind of misogynistic. Are you thinking of Corey Wayne? And I apologize if you guys hear data barking. I'm sure there's like a Amazon. God, that's the worst thing about quarantine is I'm ordering so much from Amazon. It's like I'm good friends with the Amazon guy now because he's like at my house every other day. He's like, hey, here's your 30 pack of coffee. Except it's 30 packs of, like, one pack is 200 K-cups. I love it. I love coffee. Craig Kenneth is, Craig Kenneth is a little silly. He is. But, you know what? Look, the YouTube information is free. The YouTube information is free, and there's some good stuff there, and him and Margaret are, good. The dating guy is great. Susan Winter, Thais Gibson, everything. It's free. So if you don't want to pay for coaching, don't. Just go look at the free videos. That's why they're there for. So, Craig Kenneth mentions that dumpers do regret their decisions. What's your take on it? I would say that very often dumpers regret their decisions. Yeah, very often. Maybe not 100% of the time. That's like saying... Yeah, I'm not even going to make a comparison. I would say yes. Generally speaking, I agree with that, yes. John Murphy said... Oh, John, what's up, man? What's up, Rory? Life is going great, man. I appreciate all the help you gave to me to get to this point. Got my AA, dating an amazing woman, spending time with people, and living a great life. You rock. Nah, John, you rock, man. You rock, brother. Jayco says, should you initiate contact with an ex when they reach out after no contact and the conversation ended? No, I would let them come to you. Look, they were walking away from you, so they can walk to you. And guys, just a reminder, if I do not get to your question, because there's a lot of you here, if I do not get to your question, please, please, please write it as a comment below when this video goes up after I end it, and then we will, I'll be sure to get to your question there. Clara, how are you? Can you please do a video about when it's no longer us and moving on? I'm happy and glad I found your channel. Sure. Can you be a bit more specific what you want to see in that video? Do me a favor, Clara. Post that on Patreon, just so I make sure that I've seen it. Let's see here. Hello, can someone help me with my homework? Yeah, I can, as long as it's not math. As long as it's not math. Math is not, me and math we're not homies. Golden Rose says, my ex and I have been talking for weeks now, and I asked if she wanted to get back together, and she would reconsider, but needs time, although she's going on dates with a guy. Any suggestions? Don't get uppity about it, right? Just, hey, give me a call if it doesn't work out. Craig Kenneth is solid. Rory's session will open up your eyes if you're ready for it. Thanks for putting me in my place. I can help with math. Thank you, Christine. Thank you for the testimonial. I appreciate it. There is no math in relationships. I mean, I disagree. 1 + 1 = 2. And if you find somebody that says 1 + 1 = 1, shoot them. With compliments, but not with bullets. But also disagree with them. Do not physically harm others. That's a bad way to go. And I am not endorsing that. Holy moly. Alright, the Web Drake says, thanks for everything, Rory. Everything in my life has improved. I am so very glad that this channel has helped you. Grayson says, love that you used music from Catherine. Got me feeling like a stray sheep. Good on you. I'm glad you recognized it. Tristan, thank you for the donation. Mega Anti-Hacks says, I unfollowed her social media as soon as she followed her ex, but I still miss her, and all our friends in common support her, so I lost them too. Been in no contact for 2 months, but she lives nearby. What do I do? Yeah, it's kind of the same. It's the same answer as before, man. You have to stop looking at the social media. You have to stop looking for the answer. You have to stop looking for new information. All that's going to do is drive you crazy, and it's going to give you answers to questions you didn't ask. And it's going to lead you to premises that are not necessarily accurate. And so if the premise isn't accurate, the questions you ask based off the inaccurate premise will also be inaccurate, right? So that's like saying, oh, well, my ex is following her ex. That must mean they're back together. Well, you don't know that. So if all the questions you're now asking is, hey, my ex and her ex are back together, what do I do? But the original question is wrong. Or the original answer was wrong, right? My ex and her ex are back together. You don't know that. You're assuming. Or you're assuming that her following her ex's social media means something. It might not. It might not. It might mean nothing at all. It might mean she's curious what the other ex was doing. And that's it. So what do? You do nothing. You focus on yourself. You love yourself. You get a mental health counselor. You journal. You exercise regularly. You reconnect with some old friends. And whatever friends you lost, honestly, they weren't really your friends. They weren't really your friends. If they just left your life like that, they weren't really your friends. They were, what is that? Fair weather friends. Right? When things are going fine in your life, they're around. If things aren't going fine, poof, they're gone. Those aren't your real friends. You know who your real friends are. And maybe you only have 3 or 4, but fine. 3 or 4 real friends beats the hell out of 50 fair weather friends. All right, guys. I'm going to end the stream here. It's a little early, but my voice is getting kind of raw. I've been coaching and talking all day. So I know that there is a lot of questions that I didn't get a chance to answer. I want to reassure you guys. Just leave it as a comment below. I will answer your question when you leave it as a comment. If you do not leave your comment, I cannot answer it. And thank you all for being here. It's been great. And I will talk to you all next time. Oh, by the way, we're going to be having a video on Friday. So I'll keep you guys up to date on that Friday video. But until then, don't forget to leave your question down below. Can I email you my question? No, I will not answer an email. Just write it down below, and I will answer it if you write it down below. Addio.